video is all about how I would teach myself to code if I was going to start all over again. This video is inspired by Tina. Go queen, go off queen, boom, boom, boom. So her video kept popping up in my recommendations and I was like, this is a great video idea. So I got inspired and that's why I'm doing this video. I'll definitely have her video in the comments below. Her advice that she gives is a little bit different, or well, actually our videos are really different. So definitely check it out. You can hear a different perspective and it's just going to be great for you, so you can hear these different inputs, find out what's best for you. And then also something else I want to say is that like throughout this video you're going to see a trend of me trying to optimize for consistency. So this video isn't like the fastest way to learn how to code. This is, you know, if you're going to be teaching yourself to code, how can you create a schedule that, you know, you can reach your end goal, you can stay consistent, and also, you know, you're not too hard on yourself and you're not too overwhelmed, because I was definitely overwhelmed trying to learn how to code. So if I could do it all over again, I would try to create a better foundation. So this video is meant for all of my beginners out there. Like, I just want to give you a round of applause just because this is really the start, and it's an honor that you decided to watch this video so I could be the start of your coding journey. Like, that's kind of insane. So yeah, this video is meant for people who have never written a line of code before, and I just want to say welcome and congratulations on taking the first step. You know, if I was trying to learn how to code, I would probably be on YouTube too, and then after that what I would do is do an hour of code. So an hour of code is basically where you only spend 1 hour and you do different coding activities, and it's supposed to be a gentle introduction to coding. So the reason why I like it is that it's only 1 hour long, 60 minutes. And I think it's a great way to, like, you know, finally get started. I think one of the scary things about learning anything new is kind of like taking that initial first step of actually doing it. So with an hour of code, legit pause this video and put a date in your calendar saying, you know, this Wednesday I have some time, I'm going to do an hour of code. And there's different websites that have this kind of like hour of code type activities. So one website is like the official website. I believe it's the official website for it, and I'll definitely recommend this to, like, you know, kids, middle school students, maybe high school students. I think that's a great, like, gentle introduction to coding. Other websites that I know that have an hour of code, one of them is Khan Academy. I love Khan Academy's hour of code. You know, you get to build a website. I think that's pretty cool, and I just think that's a great one. You know, a lot of people say MySpace was like their first introduction to coding, so, you know, I feel like it kind of has that MySpace vibes, which I think is amazing. You know, Google also has hour of code activities. They have so many different types. You don't like one, you can try another, and I think this is a great way to finally get started and to begin your coding journey. Now, after an hour of code, what I would do is take one of these free online classes. So one of these classes is Harvard CS50, and they have, you know, an introduction to coding class. So I like this for so many different reasons. One is they actually touch on a lot of different programming languages like Python, SQL, C. Like, these are all different languages that you could learn. And I think that's great because this is like you're trying to learn something new, and you get an introduction and you get to, like, you know, learn a little bit. And I think it's great to kind of see like what's out there before you choose to focus on one thing. And I think that's something that course does beautifully. Also, I was an instructor for Code in Place. So this was a class put on by Stanford, and I was one of the tutors for this class where it teaches people how to code. What I really like this is that the professors were so patient, they were so knowledgeable, and I thought they did a great job at creating a safe learning environment, and I think that is so important when you are learning something new. So I would definitely recommend that class. I'll put on the screen how you can get informed if they teach the class again. So, you know, they haven't made the material live yet. Hopefully they will in the future, just because I think the material is really good. But I'll probably take one of these classes. Now, this video isn't the fastest way to learn how to code. This video is how I would learn how to code. So while I was taking these classes, I would come in with the mindset of just learn, just absorb the information. And I think because, you know, when I was learning to code, I got overwhelmed sometimes, and there's, you know, this is going to be a new way of thinking, and I don't want to overwhelm myself and then, you know, I quit especially if you're teaching yourself to code, like I think you should just ease your way in. You know, somewhere along the way, another mistake I made was I didn't have a strong foundation when learning to code. So if you don't have a strong foundation and then you put other things on top of something that's already rocky, it doesn't really work well. So when it comes to like those beginning stages and learning to code, I am really going to take my time with it. So while I'm taking these courses, like I think Harvard CS50 course is about 10 weeks, my goal is to attend all the lectures. Throughout the course, they might have quizzes, you know, different things like that. If I feel up to the quiz, great. If I don't feel up for it or up to it, you know, I'm not going to force myself, just because like I really want to ease my way in, and especially if this is a skill that I see myself using for the rest of my life in my career, I really want to have a great introduction to it. So that's the mindset I would have while taking that class. You know, however, let's say you're learning this class and you're like easy peasy lemon squeezy, you know, then you challenge yourself, and I think this will be a great opportunity to do it. You know, one of the reasons why I like these different types of courses is that I like having access to professors and to tutors, you know, when I get stuck, you know, so I think that's something great that this course has. And you know, while I'm also learning this stuff, y'all, I am building up my network. Like I'm about to add these professors on LinkedIn. I'm adding my classmates, my tutors, my peers, like everybody get an invitation from me, just because, you know, your network is so important, and you never know, your network might lead to a new job opportunity or something else, or, you know, different things like that. So that is something I would do. You know, something else I want to say too is that while I'm taking this class, and I already told you my goal is to just like attend all the lectures and learn something new, I would actually keep a list of everything that I'm learning. Something I had to learn was progress over perfection. And like you might have a homework assignment and you don't complete that homework assignment, and that might get you feeling down like, oh, I don't know this, you know, all these different things like that. However, keeping a list of what you're learning shows like, you know, if my goal is to progress, is to learn, look at all these things I'm learning. I got 10 pages, 20 pages, like I have all these notes of what I'm learning. So it just shows that you're on the right track. And I think that's something that can really help you in your journey. So after I took one of these free virtual classes, and if you're taking Harvard CS50, maybe you got yourself a certificate. Okay, I see you. But you know, I had the mindset of just attending all lectures. But whatever, you know, you completed the class, congratulations. And now what I'm doing is the 100 Days of Code Challenge. So this is a challenge where you are meant to code for an hour every single day. You do this for 100 days, and you also document your progress. You document, your 100 days. So the reason why I like this is for many different reasons. One, I think when you're learning something new, consistency is so important. And doing this, taking on the challenge is a way to help me stay consistent. Something else I would do is every day, for the description, for when you're documenting your progress, I would post my learnings. I think this is a way for me to, again, really focus on learning and progress. And I think posting my learnings, it would be great to come back to. When you're on day 60 and you go back to day 1 and it's like, wow, day 1, I didn't know how to create a variable. Now look at me now. So I think it would be great to really track that progress. You can track your progress on Instagram. You can track it on Twitter. I would personally use Instagram just because I like the layout more, and I think I would like it's like a diary in a sense, the way I would make my Instagram page for 100 Days of Code. But yeah, feel free to use whatever platform you want, and that is something I would go on. Maybe you meet a friend in your CS50 class or in your Code in Place class. What I would do is be like, hey, do you want to come on this challenge with me? Just because I think accountability buddies can be so helpful when learning something new. So that's something I would do. The great thing with the 100 Days of Code hashtag is you can just look up the hashtag and you'll see other people going on the same journey. So I would be commenting on their things. I'm building my network, and I'll just be doing little things like that. Maybe I encourage someone, I follow them, then they follow me, and we're just encouraging each other. And I think that could be so powerful. And this really helps you to stay consistent. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, okay, 100 Days of Code, I got you, I'm gonna take the challenge, but what do you focus on? So for me personally, what I would see myself doing is I might spend maybe a week, covering different things from CS50 that maybe went over my head. I wouldn't spend too much time on CS50 stuff or code and play stuff, just because, you know, that was really just supposed to be an introduction to me. So I think at this point I'll need to pick what coding language I want to focus on. And you know, that course, it went over Python, C, SQL. The course that I would take would definitely be Python, 1000%. You know, if my goal is to learn how to code, I think the syntax of Python, which is basically how things are spelled, the grammar, you know, how you actually write the code, that's most similar to like English. And you know, I want something that is, you know, out of all the different languages, it's one of the ones that are easier to get started with. It's a very popular language as well. So if you do run into problems and if you are teaching yourself, you know, it's easier to find different material on the subjects. And you know, it's also a language that you can get a job with. You know, they need Python developers. So I feel like that is some of the reasons why I'd focus on Python. But I want to tell you, at the end of the day, what language you choose is totally up to you. I have met people that have started with every single language under the sun and they have been successful. I think for me, you know, as I told you, I felt overwhelmed in the past, and I think I would feel the least overwhelmed starting with Python. So that's my prerogative. Maybe talk to some of your professors from that class you took, or some of your peers. You know, watch some YouTube videos, like really figure out what language is best for you. For example, you might have done Khan Academy's Hour of Code and you really liked building the website. Go after JavaScript, learn JavaScript, you know what I'm saying? Like, choose what's best for you. What resources will I use to learn that language? You know, for me, what I would probably do is take another beginner class. The reason why I would do that is I want a good foundation. You know, some concepts I heard in the other class, I want to hear it again in a different way. And you know, there's so many different resources you can use for this beginner class. You could take an online class at a community college. I think that might be the vibe I would have chosen for myself, just because I get a community, I get people I can ask my questions to, and you know, it can help me stay on track. You know, when learning something new, it's easy to give up, but this is forcing me, like, I don't feel like doing this. You know, I'm going to attend class. I'm going to challenge myself. By the way, when I am doing this 100 days of code, I have a different mindset than when I took the other, you know, beginner CS50 or code in place class. This one I'm going to try and challenge myself more. Like, you know, I already got that introduction, and you know, with coding, there are going to be challenges, and I will try to, like, you know, challenge myself a little bit more to dig deeper. And by dig deeper, you know, like asking those questions. You know, it's not just all about attending lecture now. It's about like, okay, I'm attending lecture, I'm doing this homework assignment. You know, I completed the homework assignment. Is there a different way I could have done it? Tweaking your code a little bit and seeing if it still works and different things like that. That's what I would do, you know, a part of these 100 days of code. After that, you know, the 100 days might still be going on. What you can do, there's so many different options. If you think the course route is working for you, you can take an intermediate course and build off of that. You know, for me, what I might start doing is, you know, at the same time, like I told you all, I'm networking like crazy. I'm also in my back of my head working on my resume. And something I could have on my resume is the different projects I've worked on. So, you know, I'll start building like, okay, let me build something so simple in Python, following a YouTube tutorial. So I might be trying to build like a calculator, and I have a tutorial on that. You know, I have a random generator. Like, I'll start trying to build projects. And these are projects I'm thinking about of the ones I can add to my resume. But you know, the main goal is that, you know, for 100 days, you know, an hour every day at the least, you are coding. You know, something else I want to mention is, as I'm going through these 100 days of code, I'm finding my community. Like, there are so many different accounts on Instagram I would definitely follow. Some of them are baddies in tech. But I really like how they post different opportunities. You know, they be posting job fairs, different things like that. Even though I don't feel ready at that moment, I would still attend those job fairs. You never know what opportunity might fall into your lap. So, or not, it's not even falling into your lap. You took the initiative to go to that like job opportunity. You know, baddies in tech, street code, they post so many different free classes you can take, different workshops you can take, and I would definitely be following their account. You know, other accounts could be Nextplay. Nextplay has different things for communities of color. AfroTech is another one. Like, there's so many different communities. You just have to kind of do the research and, like, you know, find them. Like, something you can do is once you find one account that you really like and you follow it, it shows suggestion ones. I would do that to start forming my community and start like really immersing myself in the tech scene. If I were to learn a language, like a spoken language, one way you can do that is actually go to the country that speaks that language, and you know, you'll have no choice, especially if it's the main language of the country, to use it. So how can you force yourself to be in that coding environment, that coding space? You know, maybe you wake up and you listen to a coding podcast. Maybe there's some YouTubers that you really like. You know, different things like that to really immerse yourself in whatever language, or to really immerse yourself in tech. So y'all, you have done an hour of code. You have taken a coding course. And you have done 100 days of code. Like, yes. Like, honestly, congratulations. And you know, some topics might still be hazy at this point. That is totally okay. You know, every day we're learning. For me, there are some topics like recursion. I learned it once, learned it twice, learned it 3 times. It wasn't really clicking. It was like later on in my career when I was actually doing interview prep for different companies, I finally got recursion down. So don't be afraid, or don't feel bad if some topics aren't really sticking. We're gonna be learning every day on the job. You know, this is a process, this is a journey that's totally expected, and that's totally normal. Okay, so you've done your 100 days of code. Now what? Possibilities are really endless. I think for me personally, I'll probably teach kids to code. I'll find something in my community, you know, just because when you teach others, you really learn it so much better. So I think that's the route I'll probably take. And it doesn't have to be teaching them something so complicated. You know, the hour of code stuff you've done, you know, maybe the first week of CS50, like some courses for kids, just focus on that. So you definitely have enough to share your knowledge. You know, if you only took beginner courses, you can do an intermediate, you can do advanced. You know, at this point, and this might sound wild to some people, I'll probably apply for a job. Like, I'll just say, F it, let me put myself out there. And I think you can just learn so much from that. You know, maybe, you know, your resume, so it has all the projects you worked on. You know, if you actually want me to do a video on what to put on your resume if you don't have any job experience yet, you know, let me know. But, you know, you can put your projects on there, you know, if you volunteered with kids, any certifications you got along the way. And I'll just, you know, try to apply to entry-level jobs. See if I get a response back, see if I don't. You know, if that happens, I'll watch YouTube videos on how to improve my resume and different things like that. But I'll put myself out there just because, like, let's say I did a Python, you know, type interview, and they asked me different questions about Python I didn't know. I'll just be writing that down. I'll be like, okay, this is a list of topics I am going to go over. And don't start with your dream job or anything like that, just because, you know, I guess that can like scar you. But I would apply to companies and I would see what happens and take note of that, and just continuing to learn. You know, learning for you could mean building projects. I think projects are a great opportunity to see, do you know how to build something? And you know, you're gonna run into different mistakes, and you can see like, how do you handle that? If you're younger, you know, maybe you're 15, you know, you could say, okay, I really liked enjoying how to code. You know, I might want to major in computer science. I might want to take a boot camp, you know, whatever path that may be. You know, you have a great foundation and the world is yours. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.